downloads, these automatic downloads that we were functioning in, until we were like, wait a minute, push past the download and the program and try something different.
Like, what programs was I fed the first 7 years of my life, you know? So that would be like being scared, being threatened, not loved, not feeling like I was enough. Like, you're just automatically fed those from the pre-download before you can even speak to like when you are able to like be somewhat a little bit conscious of your life, you know? So you're fighting against like so much pre-program of like all of your parents' programs and then, you know, everything else that they've fed into you. So just gotta like, I gotta recalibrate and reprogram my subconscious.
That was good. I only got about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
But the 20 minutes that I heard, I was like, this is, you know, how many things are we doing on automatic? And it's funny because I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and that was, I'm actually going to send her what you sent me, but that was the focus of the session that I had with her. Yeah. You know, just this idea that she's been functioning in life from a strategy that was that she kind of developed when she was young. It was almost like a survival strategy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's still using the survival strategy, even though she doesn't need to anymore.
Because it's automatic.
Because it's automatic.
It's subconscious and you're just using it. So unless, because like he said like, you're really only using 5% of your conscious mind, as opposed to 95% is all just subconscious auto programming. You know, and that's what majority, like our conversations, it all links up together from all of our other conversations where we're just subconsciously just running on autopilot. Just like if you didn't have that conversation with Kyle and he called you out on it, that I am, you know, you're not your mom and I'm not, you know, I'm not my dad.
Your dad. He said, right? I'm not your dad.
I'm not your dad. Like, so if he didn't call it out and like put light to that, you could have been unconsciously doing that same story over and over and over again. Yeah, which is, you know, like something that I'm awakening to in my life now, where I'm like, oh my God, no, I gotta come out of that.
Shameless plug. That's my channel though. Wake Up with Dr. Sunne-Ryse, right? That's the whole, like, that's the whole piece about it, is this idea, like, you know, we wake up every day with our eyes and we think we're awake.
But we're not.
We're not. And it's not some weird, you know, people hear stuff like that and they're like, oh, it's that weird conspiracy. It's literally part science, part spirituality, right? That there are these two concepts that are working in conjunction. And if we are constantly just, like you said, on automatic, like I get up and I do these things without even thinking about them.
Yeah, like one of the examples that Bruce Lipton had said in the podcast was that, you know, think of yourself like you were driving, you know? So if you're driving, but then your conscious mind is actually thinking, who's driving? Because if your conscious mind is thinking like, okay, now you're thinking about something else, who's driving the car? Then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm here already. Like, you know, it's like the same place you've gone every single day. So your memory and your conscious actually just remembers the route and just goes. So like you can just go somewhere and be like, oh my God, how did I get
here?
Yeah, just unconsciously.
But what's crazier than that is like, just take that same concept and transfer it into interacting with people.
Yeah.
Right? You're driving the car. You're driving the car and you're processing or you're thinking, and then you're like, oh shoot, how did I get here?
Yeah.
It's the same thing
with relationships, right? It's same thing as like the people that you counsel, where people not conscious in their relationships.
Oh yeah. I told another client earlier this week, I told her, I said, you know, it's not a judgment, but it's, if you learned that how I'm interacting with the world right now is based on faulty programming, right? I create, and let me not say faulty, because I want to be clear, like people hear stuff like this and they're like, oh, what about people with trauma? That part, that's what makes this different, right? Because if we experience trauma in our youth,
Mhm.
we develop a strategy of like protection.
Yeah, survival, protection.
Survival. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's
Yeah,
be clear. If
yeah.
you need to protect and save yourself,
Mhm.
you have to do that by any means necessary in the moment.
Yeah,
What I'm talking about is when you get old enough to kind of look back and say, oh, I needed that strategy back then,
yeah.
but I don't need it now.
Yeah, like,
But
how is it serving me now?
how is it serving me now? And
Yeah,
I was telling her that, sometimes we use the strategies that we needed when we were younger and we bring them into adulthood.
yeah.
And then that strategy is actually working against us.
Yes, it totally is, and then you don't really fully grasp, like, how to change it because it's just something that you're doing
Oh, yeah.
all the time, and you're like, why does this not work? Why
But
does this not work?
I love the fact that we can even have a conversation like this to be able
Mhm,
to say like, yeah, we got some ish in our life that's not working.
mhm.
That's part of a program that hell, it could be screwing our hopes. That's the part from the podcast that I loved about what he said, that the are you living the life that you want to live, or are you living the life that you were programmed to?
Yeah, are you living the life that you were programmed for? Like,
That I had to sit with that one for a little while. I
yeah,
was
like
like,
just even the first, I think even first few minutes of it, I just kept going backwards, just listening to that part that he just kept saying. It just like just resonated with me so much. So I just kept repeating it and just listening to it, just repeating the beginning.
yeah, you got to make sure you drop a link to that.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause people are probably like, what freaking,
What podcast is this?
what are they talking
Yeah,
about?
I think it's Dr. Chatterjee and Bruce Lipton. So he's like
Yes.
those are one of like the main among like the top 10 like podcasts that I just love to listen to because they're just so amazing. There's just so many pieces of gems and quotes that they say in these
Mhm.
things that like from like there was another one, I forgot her name, but she talks about neuroplasticity and how you can like retrain your brain to be
You can
happy
retrain your
and
brain. Yep.
all of this. And it, to me, is just fascinating, you know, because obviously I'm trying to retrain my brain and it's taking me a while
I would think so.
because
Kind of.
like, yeah, because like the person who was surfing, like if you've been through like many years of war, like the time that you spent in war that was like, you know, messing up your nervous system is going to be the probably hopefully not the same amount of time, but it's going to take a while for you to like retrain that nervous system.
I liken it to freaking exercise, right? So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, how often do you work out? Sunrise. You know why I work out 6 freaking times a week?
Mhm.
Because my body, it hasn't been responding the way it used to when I was a freaking athlete in high school.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
happens, right? It starts
yeah, and
slowing
yeah, so
down.
the same way, it's the same thing for like what you're talking about, that changing of patterns and changing. Here's the thing too, there has to be a greater reward, right? Because
Yeah,
part of the patterns that we create is
yeah,
because there was somewhat of a reward
yeah.
or a benefit. Let me say a
Mhm,
benefit,
mhm,
right? And
mhm.
sometimes we didn't even realize that the benefit was harming us because of all, I could get really technical, but because of all the other stuff
Yeah,
that was going on in our lives.
yeah.
And so until we find a new benefit, your body, your mind wants to go back to,
Comfort,
oh, come on now,
comfort.
comfort.
Yep,
Sour cream, onion, potato chips. Yes,
yep.
that is my
Yeah, Doritos.
comfort. The Doritos. Oh
Picked
my
up
God.
some Doritos the other day at Walmart. I'm like, I want those Doritos. I mean,
Listen,
another one that I love that's horrible for you too is like Funyuns.
Funyuns are so old school.
I know,
They're
and I love
so
them.
old
I
school.
love
There
them.
used to be like a little store because we didn't really have corner stores. We kind of had corner stores, but there was a little, I don't know what you want to call it, on Suffolk Avenue, right
Mhm.
around the corner from where I lived on Gibbs.
Yeah.
And girl, those 25-cent bag of Funyuns, they were calling my name. That
Yeah.
and Bravos. You remember Bravos?
That sounds familiar. Is it like mixed with stuff or?
No, Bravos were like before Doritos were Doritos.
Oh,
They
yeah,
were
yeah,
like
yeah.
Bravo.
awesome. Yeah.
Anybody who's looking, they're like, what the heck are they talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So I was talking to someone, another client earlier this week about that idea of like, when you become aware of something, right? As we both are, like through our lives or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you become aware of something and you kind of revert back, or, and I wouldn't even call them relapses. I just call it life, right? Like life is not 100, there's not 100% of anything in life, right?
Yeah. Life is
But
not
when
perfect.
you have those moments where you kind of revert back to
Yeah.
a comfort space, you're like, because of the awareness,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you feeling that way? Like
Yeah.
the times
Yeah.
when you kind of slip back,
Yeah. And that's
even
what
though
it
you
felt.
slip back, you were like, this
Yeah.
doesn't feel right. Yeah, because you're different.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is fire.
Yeah. So it's, even though we'll have those life experiences back and forth, the ebbs and up and down of the waves, um, but I feel like I'm slowly getting there. I feel like I'm just so close, you
Mm,
know? I feel like I'm just so close. So I'm getting to the point where I'm getting tired of crying all the time, you know?
yeah.
Because even though I'm okay with it, because I realize that I need this time to cry and I need this
Yeah.
time to be depressed. Like, I saw a really good little clip that I think it was Jim Carrey had said that his friend, one of his psychologist friends, said that, depression is needed because you need deep rest,
Mm,
because your body is at a dis-ease. Your body is like basically saying fuck you. Like, no, I don't want to be this avatar in this character
that
that you've created.
is deep.
Yeah. And I just kept playing. I was like, wow, that's freaking amazing. I'll send it to you. But he's like, your body is depressed because it's saying fuck you, because it doesn't want to be this avatar that you created, and it's tired.
That's the part that is
And that's how I feel. Like, I created that,
so dope.
that avatar, that corporate woman, those
Mm.
character things, and those, steps and levels that I had to, accomplish. And eventually when that went away, and I'm like, what am I now? Like, what fulfills me? What is my,
Oh my God. Did you watch Peripheral? Did you get a chance to watch it?
no, I forgot the name of it, and I don't have Amazon
Okay.
Prime.
Okay, now that we've had this conversation and you're talking
Yeah.
about the avatar
Yeah.
and all that, you have to watch it. We said the part you'll understand when you, based on the quote you just made,
Yeah.
when you watch it, it'll
Yeah.
completely click for you.
Mm.
But that's the part that to me is really standing out.
Yeah.
Where you just said your body is tired and it's like, I don't want to be like a part of this
I don't want to be this
avatar.
character. I don't want to be this character anymore. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
It's exhausting. And one thing that I was thinking of when I was doing the walk was like the whole subconscious and conscious mind, how, you have to really look at your, what is playing unconsciously, the program that keeps playing, that I keep playing, so I have to actually look at that part and step out of it, and then do something. Like, I have to take action.
Yeah.
I have to take some sort of action.
That should be the name of this podcast. The brain programs we play. It's really what it is. It's programs that are playing in the background.
Like, what is playing in your head right now? Like, what story are you telling yourself? What story am I telling myself? What story am I keep playing every single day? And I have to, get to,
because here's the thing too, there are so many different stories. And I learned from doing some transformational work on myself.
Yeah.
Literally about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So 10, what are we in 2022? Yep.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I took a workshop in New York City. It was a weekend, and it was really all about what we're talking about, really just understanding who you are, where you are, why you are.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came out of that work, it was one of the most profound things that I learned about myself. Like, girl, yeah, I'm going to send you the information.
Okay.
It was this powerful space of like awareness of programming, like, and the fact that I had been living in a story, Linda, I had been living in a story that was created for me. And then I was like I was rewriting it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like this character. We gonna add this character because it works. And how many times do we write characters in our stories, our family members, people around us, and all of that, and then
Yeah.
we're living by these stories.
Yeah.
But in any moment, you can rewrite it and create a new narrative. One, because I don't know, like you and I are here together. I don't know. I will never know 100% about you.
Yeah.
I've been with my husband going on 27, 28 years. I don't know 100% about him.
That's what Jay Shetty said on one of the things talks that he was talking about. He's like, you know what, Lee, I don't think anyone will be able to understand each other fully. He's like,
No.
like I live my life. Like I've gotten to a place where it's okay that someone doesn't understand me now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we won't fully, like you didn't live in my shoes. I didn't live in your shoes. Like, how can someone fully understand you, right?
Right. But
Okay
we base the characters in our story on the limited information that we have on the character. So we do
Yeah.
complete character development
Yeah.
on very small pieces of information. And when I did that workshop, it was like one of those things where I like the relationship I had with my dad, all of that kind of like transformed and changed, because I was like, wait a minute, like I don't know everything about him. I don't know why he did all the things that he did. I don't know
Yeah.
why he is who he is.
Yeah.
But what I know now is that I can actually create a new story
Yeah.
that actually is better for me. Not
Like
necessarily better for him or anybody else,
yeah,
but I can create a new story that was better for me, that allowed me to live the life that I wanted.
And what did you do? Did you reword things that you were saying as in the story? You know, you had
No,
said, instead of him leaving, you use a different word.
I pretty much allowed other potential options to be present as to why he behaved the way
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah. 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 And
So
that's
as
one of the things
opposed
that
to,
Anthony Robin had said in the book that changed my perspective too. I would try to think of other things that was happening, like say like somebody was late. I won't be like, what the hell, you didn't care about my time. Instead of thinking you didn't care about my time, I would think, oh my God, there was traffic. You had something that happened to you. You know, you lost your keys. I would try to think of all the other options besides just me. You did
yep,
this to me.
yeah. Or I would say, this just might be who you are, and it's not personal to me. And you don't necessarily, it would appear that maybe no one's time is a priority to you other than your own. Right. So it's just so many, I would allow myself to think of all of the various scenarios. And
Yeah.
to your point, I took out making it personal about me. Oh, this was about me. This was about who I am.
Yeah,
Or
that's one of the hardest things for people to do, is just to try to not take it personally. Like it has nothing to do with you, really. It's really their programming that's making them act this way, and whatever insecurities, fears, you know, issues that they had, it's why they're doing that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is the single most, well, one of the most powerful transformations for me, because I use it even when I catch myself in the automatic program
Yeah.
of, oh, that person did this, or that person did that, or this person is behaving this way. I immediately go to compassion, which is, all right, Sunne-Ryse, you have no idea what's going on for that person.
Yeah.
And number two, it's not personal, because unless they come out and say, Sunne-Ryse, this was you, then I'm not going to take that on.
Yeah.
And I used to take a lot of that on. I took that on when I was in high school, took a lot of things personal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about me. It wasn't about
I think
me.
that's what I'm doing now, is trying not to take things personal and go. I'm probably doing that work now if you're 10 years ago.
Yeah. I'm still in it. That 10 years was just like started.
Yeah.
Me looking at the programming and me looking at the story and all of that. And I would even say farther before that was Kyle, that comment that he made on the fraternity bench when we were in college.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just those little peaks of awareness, which is why I created my channel, because I want people to get off of automatic. I want people to make decisions because they're clear it's the decision that they want to make,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I
And to
have
wake
some,
up.
I have, I have
Wake
some
up.
clients who like, they come to me and they're like, they're these high powered women, they're working on all these things. And then they
Mhm.
start talking about like physical fitness, like their weight and what they want to be and how they eat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'll usually tell them, I'm like, you have to get to a place where if you're going to eat the Doritos,
Yeah.
you're eating them because you want to.
Yeah. You're
And,
enjoying it. Enjoy it.
and
Don't feel guilty about it.
right. And
Yeah.
you are clear as
Yes.
opposed to you're on automatic. You get triggered by your emotions. You
Mhm.
eat the Doritos
Yeah.
and then you beat yourself up for eating them.
Yeah, like the part that I exactly, like I have a girlfriend who does that and she'll always feel guilty for it. I'm like, no, if you wanted those Doritos, eat the Doritos, enjoy them,
Mhm,
and then just go take a walk. You
mhm.
know, like you obviously you're gonna feel bad about it. So then eat it or eat it while you're taking a walk. So at least
Right?
you're counteracting it.
It's ultimately it's the awareness of it, right? It's
Yeah.
what's more important is her being aware as to is she eating the Doritos because she's been triggered and
Yes.
they are for whatever reason a sense of
Comfort.
comfort or whatever, or is she eating the Doritos because she's like, I have a taste for Doritos and I want to eat them. That's the part because I've told people it's less about eating the Doritos and more about you deciding in
Yeah.
the moment as opposed to it being automatic.
Hmm.
And then your awareness comes after you've like your friend, awareness comes after, and then she's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you just listen, let them settle, let them digest. Did
Yeah.
you taste them when they were like in your mouth? Enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really manifesting. Like the guilt I feel like she's holding is starting to manifest in her body now.
Mhm.
So just
It
like
is psychological though.
it's all
Yeah.
encompassing. All of it is all together. So like mind, body, and soul. So she's very like intuitive also. So she absorbs a lot of people's empathy and all of that. Like whatever is happening in your life is you're eating it now, you're absorbing it, and now it's
Yeah.
manifesting, and it's like a dis-ease, like they always say, like disease is a dis-ease in your
In the
body.
body. Yeah.
Your body's telling you something, like whatever is happening around your mentally, physically, and now it's manifesting into these
And
things.
for years, people did not believe that stuff, right? They
No,
believed
they
that was like
didn't.
spooky woo woo
Yeah,
woo.
yeah,
But one, I grew up, my mom like taught us all that stuff, but now there's science to back it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now
Now that
there's
people actually
science
believe it, that you can think it or whatever, mind, body, and soul. It's all connected now. That's why it's better to have like a more holistic, like
approach.
doctor
Yeah.
and spiritual person and mentally and
Yeah. She should watch the documentary. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Healing.
okay.
And literally that's what it talks about. And
Oh,
this whole conversation is like about reprogramming the brain and mind. That's so
yeah,
cool. But
yeah,
that documentary, it's so well done and it's a beautiful documentary. And a few weeks, maybe over the summer, I probably watched it like 3 times,
yeah, yeah,
but it really talks about the connection between your environment outside of you, your mind, your words, your thoughts, and how it affects the body.
yeah.
And so like maybe she just needs to see it visually and
Hmm.
it'll have a deeper understanding for her.
Yeah, yeah, and she's like a mix of all kinds of races also. So whenever
Mhm.
she was like feeling upset or off or whatever, I'm like, listen, go outside. Just go
Mm,
outside. Just get with nature, go to a park, get some air, go with the trees, listen to the wind, just go outside. Like you need to go outside. Like I don't know.
yeah.
I was just intuitively, I just kept telling her that. And she's connected, she's got Native American also connected to her. So when she actually did start going outside, I think she took a picture of near this tree area, and it literally looked like she took a picture of a fairy. She's like, I think
Wow.
I just took a picture of a fairy. And I was like,
That's crazy.
that looks crazy. That does look like it. But like she'll feel like energy in like these trees too. She's like, I was walking and I just felt like I need to go to these trees, but then there was like something dark that had happened around these trees
Mhm.
too. So she's connected to all of that. So yeah, she just needs to be more, I think, present and actually just trust her gut. and that's something that me and her actually are learning as well, is to just trust our gut more and like believe that those feelings are really true, and to trust it from jump, not like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I'm being like too emotional, maybe I'm doing this, because those are the programs that we've told ourselves for so long, or
Mm.
other people have told us, so we just naturally just play it, like I'll just naturally play that I'm wrong, because those
Mm.
are the programs that people have told me my entire life. So if I was the youngest one and I was not like, academic as everybody else, they'll always look at you like, no, one, you're a female, you're not smart, and you're not academic, so you don't know what you're talking about, basically. So I'll just play it no automatically, even
Yeah.
when, I'm 46 now, like it's not true. It's a
Mhm.
lie.
Oh, it absolutely is a lie. And it's the it's the part about just being able to, if you were able to believe all the other stuff that people said, I tell people, then why is it hard to believe something different? Do you know what I mean? Like, it, how it's, people are like, oh, well, it's seeing is, what is it? Seeing is believing.
Hmm.
I tell people, why can't it just be believing is seeing?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
It could be just as easy to train the brain to say, well, if I believe it, then I'll see it, as opposed to, if I see it, then I'll believe it.
yeah, because we're just so used to that, right?
We are. But practicing it is literally just reminding yourself every day, no, I'm going to believe this,
Yeah.
and then trust that I will see it. The same energy, the same level of trust that I put in it in the opposite way, right?
Hmm.
It's like saying, oh, I just believe that everything will go wrong. All right, well then just believe everything will go right.
Yeah, yeah. Was there something pivotal that happened to you, either in your childhood or growing up, that made you trust your gut more?
Yes,
A few
yes.
things, probably, right?
I dated someone in college that God, my gut said, no, do not
Really,
date that person,
really.
for a very long time. Oh my goodness, at least every day.
So, how
Um,
long did you date them?
Probably like a year or so.
And did you have that gut feeling from the beginning and all
Yes,
throughout?
yes, yes. That the person at the time, I want to preface that the person at the time was not someone of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were, sleeping with a lot of different people at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, unaware. I was not aware.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people thought I knew, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I would at least 2 times a week, the Holy Spirit would be like, yeah, no, no. And
Mm-hmm.
so when everything finally came out, and
Yeah.
then I learned everything that was going on that I was unaware of,
Yeah.
I, it was in that moment that I told myself,
Mm-hmm.
18-year-old Sunrise, I told myself, I will trust my gut
Mm-hmm.
moving forward.
Because you're like, it's been telling me this, and
Yeah, it was so clear. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was very, very clear. There would be moments when I would, say, walk into my dorm,
yeah,
and um another person, not that person, but another person would be walking out,
yeah.
and my gut would say, oh, so and so slept with her.
Oh,
And I would
so
be
and
like,
so would really, so somebody would walk
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I would just be like, oh, just, it wasn't even that I was ignoring it.
Yeah,
It was so faint. And
yeah,
because I wasn't listening, it was very faint. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? But it was
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I could go on. Like, that probably happened, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 different times, where I walked into spaces and I just had this
Feeling.
immediate kind of, I tell people, for me, I think everyone hears from God
Yeah,
different ways, right?
yeah.
But for me, sometimes it's audible and sometimes it's a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like a weird physical
Yeah.
feeling, but sometimes it's audible for me. Like I
Yeah.
will, it's almost like I would hear a conversation, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't listen. I did, girl, I did not listen. But when I'm telling you, when I found out and
Mm-hmm.
that information came to me and it was real, like real deal,
Yeah.
I made a promise that I would never, ever doubt myself again. Like I would never doubt
Yeah.
my gut. I wouldn't. And of course, over the years, I've matured and I've grown
Mm-hmm.
and it's got stronger. But that was the pivotal moment.
That was the pivotal moment.
That
So
was the
did
pivotal
you
moment.
find, so some of the people that you had feelings about, did it actually, like,
Some of them were true. Yeah.
those
Oh
are
yeah.
true?
Yeah.
And
Those I got, that was the point. I got confirmation
that those feelings you had, or those
that
people
those,
walked
yes,
out, you're like,
yes,
oh
yes,
my God, that's
yes,
awesome.
yes. And it's funny because I don't really talk about it much.
Yeah.
One, because I don't care,
Yeah.
but I don't, but it was pivotal. And it wasn't pivotal because of the person,
Yeah.
because he's irrelevant,
Yeah.
right? He's a
Yeah.
human
He
being
was, he
living
was
his
the less,
life.
he was the lesson.
He was the lesson. Like God was using him as my lesson.
Yeah.
Right. So it's less, but that's why I said, I'm sure he's a wonderful human being now and living his life and
Yeah.
doing whatever.
Yeah.
But in that moment,
Yeah.
I heard God say, no, he has no integrity.
Yeah. That, I love that. I love these kind of
Yeah.
stories. I love these kind of stories.
He has no integrity. That was like, he has no integrity.
That's so funny. See, like, just like you say, you love these conversations because everything connects. I was just talking to my girlfriend and we were just talking about integrity.
Really?
Yeah. And she was saying that, she's like, no, I have integrity, and what I say, I mean. And I was like, that is just perfect. That goes for everybody. Like, you want people to have integrity and to say what they mean and follow through.
Mm. And you know what? I never thought about it until you just said it.
Hmm.
I didn't have integrity with myself
See?
because I wasn't honoring what my spirit was telling me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was allowing the avatar, if we want to flip it and bounce it
Yeah.
to what you
Yeah.
said before,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
was allowing the avatar to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so inside my spirit was like, why do you keep,
Why you
why are
letting
you
this
doing this?
avatar run when I'm trying to?
When I'm trying to point you in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I tell you the moment that it hit for me,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it was I learned to value myself because I
Yeah.
was a young girl. I was impressionable.
Yeah.
And the avatar wanted to be accepted and wanted to be included. So I was
Yeah.
willing to tolerate and accept a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a lot of self-hate there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't, let's put it this way, if not self-hate, there wasn't enough self-love, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't think I hated myself. I just didn't love myself enough to
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
because of what I thought I would be losing out on.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, I
oh
love
my
all of
God.
this.
That's
I
so,
mean,
when I think back to that time in college for me,
mm-hmm.
it was so pivotal for me gaining confidence as a woman.
Yes. Well,
Right.
and I'm doing that now at 46 because I feel like I was always just going with the avatar. Like,
Yeah.
avatar was like, be a good girl,
Mm.
get married, have kids, have the good job. Like, that was the avatar that I was trying to create
Mm.
and stick to. And now I'm like, no,
No, screw that avatar.
now that avatar is gone and I'm trying to, create this new avatar.
They say screw that bitch.
Exactly.
She
So
ain't even real. That avatar ain't even real.
I
Bitch,
know
get
my
out of here.
girlfriend, every time I get, like, a year ago, I was getting scared and I was like, oh my God, I need to go get a job. And she's like, Linda, no, you cannot go back to, working in fashion and doing that. She's like, you can't. Because we always had the conversations of like, no, we don't want to do this. So she's like, no, you can't. So now when I talk to her, I'm like, listen, we have to figure out what we're doing because we've been talking all of these years during lunchtime to figure out what we want to do. Like, this is the time. Like, we have to grab each other now because we're both not working full time. And we have to figure out the dream that we're trying to get to because we have an idea. We just got to get to that idea and get it going because we don't want to go back. So we have to just create that new avatar and create that new dream and make it happen.
Oh yeah.
I love
I'm
how
with you.
random and beautiful these conversations are. And I sent you that podcast because it was resonating with me. And I was like, well, maybe it'll be part of the podcast today. I don't know what we're talking about, but I feel like it doesn't even matter because something will hit and something will resonate with the two of
Oh
us.
yeah, it's the
And I think it's
reprogram
so
for me.
beautiful. Yeah, it's a
The
reprogram.
reprogram for me.
Yeah.
And I think everything we talked about today comes back to that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the reprogramming.
Yeah.
So
And I seriously love these like weekly inspiring conversations because it gives us just a beautiful like space to just be open and then to see your light, how you can help people, and you know, those tips and tricks for everybody.
yeah, well, light recognizes light. So
I love it. I love it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much and have a great day.
no, you too. Difficulty trying to work it out.
No problem. Oh, you have one of my favorite shirts on that I love of yours.
Oh yeah,
it's very inspiring for me to do a piece of art.
It is. This is like one of my favorite.
I love it. And it's just like a sweatshirt, right?
It's a sweatshirt, yeah. Mm-hmm. It has holes. It has the little thumb hole in it.
Yeah. It's
definitely one of my faves.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
How are you, my dear?
I'm okay. I came back from a walk and jumped in the shower, so I'm like really hot right now. But at least like today's day 2, I went out for a walk.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Day 2.
And like you picked the perfect day to go for a walk because it's like fall in. No, it's spring and fall right now.
Yep.
It is crazy, the weather.
Yeah, super crazy. It's like, it was depressing yesterday. But at least I think, it was raining yesterday. It got kind of gloomy, right? Or it was the day before that. I can't remember. I don't know.
Yeah. I think maybe it was, I don't know, maybe Friday, like last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I did do a walk yesterday, and I did I don't know how many miles I did yesterday, but at least an hour or so walking. And then today I did 2 hours. So I'm just going to keep getting my ass out just to walk.
Yeah.
Step 1, let's get out the house and walk.
It's